So it looks like the chickens have come home to roost. The very people that were saying, "Wake up, Ethan. We're telling you to wake up." It seems like they are in for a rude awakening themselves. The lawfare is starting. Denims is getting sued. Kaceytron, who didn't even play a part in the content cop, is getting sued. Deserved, though. Definitely deserved. And Frogan also getting sued. They're finally getting what they deserve. Let's take a look.
Welcome back to a series so spicy, even hot ones took notes. In today's video, streamer Tectone has just been banned on Twitch again.
I saw that.
And Denims have both responded. Hassan continues to slander absolutely everybody.
Oh, man.
Kaceytron is now blaming Asmongold for harassment.
Yeah, but Hassan's slander is basically just the dumbest shit you can imagine. So whenever Hassan slanders someone, you know to take that person's side. You literally should just go dap him up. Just if you have beef with Hassan, if Hassan says something negative about you, it brings you closer to the coolest people ever. It really does.
Ethan Klein has added another Hassan orbiter, Shonda Black, to the lawsuits.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, they cannot cry about misogyny this time, but don't worry, they'll
cry
calling you
racism.
racist now.
Yep, of
Alrighty,
course.
subscribe
Nice,
or
nice.
You're locked in an elevator with Kaceytron for 24 hours straight.
Ooh, I mean, I am subscribed, but I gotta double subscribe plus? What is that? You gotta, like, become a member? I might honestly have to consider that.
Alrighty, let's start with Tectone getting banned on Twitch. Now, if you remember, the last time he got banned, it was because he called Frogan galactically compatible. Well, it seems like this ban...
Frogan is so large that we could launch her into space and she would catch orbit and become Earth's second moon.
...was also due to another Hassan orbiter, this time Denims.
Like, she is literally a Hassan orbiter. She is literally a planet.
This is not my first. This is not my second. This is not my third. This is my fourth fucking ban in the past 90 days. 7 days, boys. 7 days. Thought it was 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Oh, don't worry. It's only a 7-day ban and no pay for 2 weeks. Yep. There it is. That dumb who's getting her ass sued, and I can't.
I don't even give a shit anymore, bro. Fuck Twitch. They could ban me for all I care. Honestly, I understand if you're making a lot of money on Twitch, you want to stay. But Tectone has literally leaked that he makes, I think, 5% of his income from Twitch. Bro, 5%? Just get some extra sponsors and you're good, bro. Cut off that limb to save the rest of your body. It honestly needs to be amputated. Dude, Twitch is so cancer. Dan Clancy is a gooner. He leaked his Twitch For You page. It's literally just all softcore porn. He made a happy birthday video for Hassan the terrorist. Okay, no. Get off that platform. Kick is where it's at. YouTube is where it's at. Avoid it at all costs.
Can't wait for her ass to get permanent. Yes, I have been mass reported by Denims community once again for calling her a whore. Wow!
Right, so just some context. Denims obviously in the past.
And by the way, these are the same people that every single day call him a pedophile. Call him a rapist. The same people that call Nuxtaku a pedophile and a rapist. If you think that those things are okay to say to someone with no evidence just to attack them because you dislike them and their content and their politics, then it is completely fair game to say that you're a whore, which is less damning than saying that someone is a pedophile. Okay, being a slut isn't a crime. Being a pedophile, yes it is. So...
has called him a grapist. Basically,
yeah, literally.
Completely slandered him. So while some people may not like the terminology used by Tectone here, one of the insults is far worse than the other.
Yeah, but they honestly, they've reclaimed it. Like, honestly, I hear girls, they'll be like, ooh, that's so slutty. It's just like supposed to be a little promiscuous, a little devious. It's not even that crazy. They kind of enjoy it. They kind of enjoy a little bit of self-deprecation. It's like, yeah, I'm dressed like a slut tonight. Like, okay, you are. And in Denim's case, you're dressed like a slut every day on stream. What's the big deal? Isn't that part of the brand? Isn't that part of the whole thing? That you have like 2 advertisements on your chest for your OnlyFans? Like, okay, that's fine. Make your money. Like, then just don't go around and then complain that Tectone is saying what you are.
In fact, life-ruining. So I think it would only be fair for the standards to be applied equally and the TOS actually be enforced. Wow, who would have thought? Enforce your actual rules. Now, suppose he got banned for harassment or something. In that case, both of them should get banned. Denim should probably get perma-banned for spreading false allegations. Now, apparently Tectone is saying that he didn't even call her that. I mean, he sort of like played around it.
I didn't even call her a whore this time. That's what's crazy. I got banned because she said she was upset that she was being called a whore. And then I said, if you don't want to be called that, don't have an OnlyFans. So I didn't even call her that. I got banned merely for saying.
I see what he's saying here, right? So he's basically saying that the thing you're complaining about could be avoided if you were to do these certain things, even though he didn't even directly call her that. So that's interesting. But I feel like even if you do, it is a neutral term, obviously with a negative connotation, but there's a reason why the phrase slut shaming exists, because you can also call someone a slut in a non-shaming way. You know, it can be almost kind of like endearing or charming or whatever. I don't think he was doing it in that way, but I also don't think that it really matters when you're reaping the rewards of being a slut.
Saying if you don't want to be called that, then don't have an OnlyFans. Is that not fucking insane?
Right, so I'm not exactly sure about the semantics there. I'm not a linguistic expert, of course, but I think the general way rules are applied on Twitch is genuinely baffling to anybody with a shred of common sense. My theory is that as long as Dan can go into you, you're pretty much good. You get like a golden pass to do anything, anytime, anywhere. Keep in mind, Denims is still getting away with this despite putting bounties on people threatening to kill them. And apparently that's okay.
30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit
Reacting to Twitter.
disappear.
I mean, if you just reverse the roles, imagine somebody did that to her. Somebody put a bounty on her. Everybody would be crying for her, like, oh my god, somebody is threatening a woman. But because it's somebody else, then it's just completely fine. Like, the double standards are insane on Twitch. Then he talks about how they got zero punishment.
There's this girl called Denims who keeps on calling me a sexual predator, a abuser, a guy who beats women, and she's called me a rapist. Her buddy Hassan has called me a familial obligated rapist. Do you think they got banned? No, soy dora. They got nothing. They got zero punishment. Fucking zero. I explained to them why they're being called that. I get banned for 7 days again. I've even tried to clean up my language when talking about this. But apparently, I can't talk about Frogan. I can't talk about Hassan. I can't talk about Denims. I can't talk about any of them. Yet they can run my name through the mud 24/7.
Hello, Dan Clancy here, Twitch CEO. I think there's only one solution here, actually. Tectone, it's time for you to take off your clothes and start at OnlyFans. I, Dan Clancy, will be judging very thoroughly, and if you pass the test, you might get unbanned immediately.
I'm gonna be honest, he don't look too good. He look a little unhealthy, you know, he might need some sun. Get this boy some vitamin D, like, I mean, this is, this physiognomy, this display. You can tell where his hand has been.
Actually, but you must let me see the goods.
Is that Emma Frost?
Ring. Wait a minute, I've just gotten a call from the government. They're saying my room is a biohazard. Well, it seems my gooning pillow is corroding into the earth. It is poisoning the water supply. Well, I suppose I gotta deal with this. I'll catch you later, guys. Dan Clancy out. What the heck, Dan? Get out of my video, dude. Anyways, if you watched the previous episodes, you would know that Hassan in particular here implied that Tectone inherited the essence.
Didn't this guy visit a brothel in Germany? Like, didn't he literally go to like a whorehouse and like fuck women whose ages were not confirmed because it was later rated for that reason, that the ages were questionable? Like, I believe that that is a real thing that happened. And he's gonna go and say that Tectone's a rapist? Like, are we serious? There's something about throwing stones when you live in a glass house, talking shit about people and accusing them of things that are bad when you have, you know, skeletons in your closet yourself, bro.
Say genes from his dad? Absolutely insane accusation that honestly makes no sense. Well, apparently, he's doubled down on it again. In fact, right before this ban, he said this.
Why is Tectone's egg ass trying to say you ruined your life, Lamau? Why are you openly admitting that you watch the rapist child of a rapist? Like, what is wrong with you? Generational sexual assault. Who gives a shit, dude?
Well, I mean, that was pretty clear by Hassan. It's not even implied anymore. He straight up just said it. He said the R-word child of an R-word. Very interesting, Hassan. I mean, you're just lucky that Tectone is not...
I hope he sues him for that. I straight up would hope that he sues him for slander. It's so easy to prove that. Like, slander, hard to prove in general. Slander, easy to prove when someone calls you a rapist when you're not a rapist. Open and shut case. So it says here that on Twitch there was a clip where a chatter said, have you heard what Tectone said? And then you said, it's embarrassing that you watch this rapist. So when you called him a rapist when he's not a rapist, you understand that it's slander. Okay, you're either fined $1 million or you're going to jail. Fuck this guy.
Not Ethan, because your ass would be sued immediately. Now, I don't know why Tectone won't do it. Maybe it's too much of a headache. Maybe it's more fun to see him embarrass himself. But it's just crazy you can just say the shit and get away with it. And Hassan constantly complains about people misrepresenting him, taking him out of context, and then he just casually calls people rapists. That's not normal, man. That can ruin people's lives.
He literally said that people who hate him are mostly victims of seeing clips of him out of context. Literally insane. Like, do you think that that's why people don't like you? Because they've just been lied to this whole time, or because they've been shown the truth? The ugly truth is why they don't like you. Not because there's been a massive smear campaign that's been orchestrated to make you look bad. No, you've done it all by yourself.
Now, if you remember last time,
and ironically, on the flip side, that's literally what you are doing to Tectone, creating a smear campaign.
and we talked about Tectone's ban, he apparently compiled a certain folder and sent it over to Twitch staff. And we had a bunch of theories about what it was about. Well, he finally revealed what it was.
Inside of this folder that I made with the help of my mods, I had a plethora of videos and screenshots that went on for quite a bit, ranging from everybody from Mike from PA, Hassan, Denims, Frogan, Kaceytron, Minx, just to name a few, with wonderful little clips like this.
The reason Tectone can't sue me is because he did that shit.
Clips where Denims
Oh.
is saying that I'm
He
a
did
rapist
that
and
shit.
I can't sue her because, well, she believes that I did it. Clips where Hassan is calling
Please
Asmongold
sue.
a
Please
pedophile.
sue. Please
Clips
sue.
where Denims is calling
Bro,
me a
Tectone,
rapist.
you have the chance to do the funniest thing ever and fuck these people over, dude. Please. I'm begging you, do it.
Pedophile and abuser, going in on Nuxtaku, going in on Mudahar, going in on all of these streamers, going in on all of these, content creators with complete blasphemous language.
Alrighty, so my guess was pretty close. I said last time that he might have compiled every transgression that Hassan has done.
Maybe
his
someone else
violation
sues
of
him,
TOS, his
or
slander,
sues for
and
him.
just sent it over to Twitch. Turns out it wasn't just Hassan, but a bunch of other people as well. Now, personally, I do think this was kind of pointless. Obviously, they already knew what was going on. They know that these
Right.
people routinely violate TOS. They literally just don't care. I think it's time to face the truth. These people are just extremists. They agree with Hassan. They probably agree with the terrorist support as well. That is just what
Yeah, it's really that simple. Like, I don't know if it needs to be overcomplicated. They are terrorist sympathizers. They orbit around the largest terrorist sympathizer. And if you don't believe that they would do such an evil thing, if you think that that's too abstract and I'm reaching, how about we start with something that's demonstrably true? They are false accusers of the worst thing you can do to someone. Grape, without the G. Literally, one of the worst career-ruining things that can happen to someone, life-ruining, and they throw it around like it's a filler word. If you're bored and you run out of things to criticize someone for, just call them a grapist. Literally, they are so accustomed to doing that. It's disgusting. That's my evidence for you to show these people are pieces of shit, that they lie and they falsely accuse. Now, if with that, you can't use the same principle that they are pieces of shit to maybe think that, hey, they might still be pieces of shit in this other way, which also has lots of evidence to back it up, then we can start somewhere else. I think all roads lead to these people being pieces of shit. I think it's easy to prove. The receipts are easy to access, and fuck them.
extreme politics does to your brain. It completely rots it, rendering you unable to think with common sense.
Yeah, they're
Am
brain
I surprised
broken.
they completely ignored this entire folder of Hassan and his orbiters committing, TOS violations? Nope, not in the slightest. What you actually should have done, as I did mention last video as well, you should have sent Dan 1 terabyte of gooting material. Give him something he can actually work with. Listen, that is the strategy, I'm telling ya. Then he leaks his Discord messages with the Twitch staff.
These are messages with official Twitch staff. I completely get it. Trust me, you should report her and send me whatever clips. And by the way, this is me working with the one good mod that Twitch actually has. Or send me whatever clips or tweets you feel are violative, and I can report them myself and bring them up to the powers that be. It's the same situation as the Frogan thing, and you know it is. You know how many people were talking about Mink 72 hours ago? 0. Yes, 100%. But bro, her tweet had 1 million views out of nowhere.
Is he talking about the Streisand effect, where because he talks about something, it makes it a bigger issue? I get what he's saying, but I also think that, you know, there are certain things that are so evil. Like, the accusation is so serious, you have to respond it. Like, as much as I think it's useful to ignore, like, you know, people who are just talking shit about you who are less popular because it'll blow over. If you have a creator like Denims who's not even that popular, I mean, obviously, most of her notoriety is just because of, like, people disliking her, but she still, like, has a small audience. It doesn't matter how small her audience is. If someone calls you an R word, I think that's a serious enough accusation. If it's made by someone who has usually a smaller size, I would still want to respond to it. Maybe I would ignore it if a person had like 2 subscribers, but if it's like someone with like a few hundred viewers, I'd be like, okay, I gotta, you know, shut that down. But yeah. Yeah, and then they say the silence speaks volumes. So it's like, you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. But that's why that, you know, that's why false accusations are such a fucking disgusting thing, because you can use tactics like that to then bait people into responding. It's just terrible.
Ignore something that big after she went after me and my family. Same thing with Denims. And you've reported them both on Twitch with the links and stuff, because it is according to our guidelines that we will perform action on or off platform behavior, which means Twitch would, in fact, if they thought it was bad, whether the action was committed off the platform or on the platform, you would get banned if Twitch thought it was bad. We will action on or off platform behavior if it's egregious enough. Labeling people rapists, pedophiles, abusers, going after Asmongold's dead fucking mother.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the equivalent of talking to like bots or customer service. Obviously, this person is just going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, but behind the scenes, they don't have power to do shit, even if this was one of the good Twitch mods or whatever. That's just kind of how it is with these sort of situations. It is blatantly obvious they have an agenda, and they just want to push their own narrative. And rather than let Twitch be a platform for gaming or entertaining streams, they just want to turn it into this weird political pushing agenda echo chamber with the side of OnlyFans, I guess. And that's pretty much why Twitch is completely cooked.
It's so cooked.
Here's the info on Hassan and friends, or should I send it elsewhere? This is great. I can try to pass the powers that be. Nothing was done.
Of course nothing was done.
We have 100% assurance.
He could sue Twitch, maybe.
That Twitch is okay with terrorist sympathizers.
Right.
They are okay with people breaking the law. They are okay with people.
They're disgusting. They're literally disgusting.
Attempting to defame them, harass them, ruin their life with false allegations.
There needs to be some level of pushback. I don't know if it needs to be a lawsuit, but the Ethan Klein suing over React might do something. It's more deep-rooted. It has to do with the fact that the platform is okay with this behavior. If they were to take a stance against this behavior, then we would be getting somewhere. But in order for them to take the stance, for Twitch to do that, I think there might have to be some sort of a law. Because why else would they change? They're not incentivized to change. Dan Clancy loves Hassan. He loves his titty streamers, which is, cough, Denims. Like, it's like, why would he change? It's his fucking brainchild that has all the cancer that he likes on it, and it's just like, there's no, it's trying to fix the Twitch in the way that everyone thinks it needs to be fixed would be like breaking it if you're Dan Clancy, you know? It's baked into the cake. It would be like vegan chicken. It's like you're either getting chicken or you're getting vegetables. You can't have both, you know? It's like...
As well as go after people's dead parents. And they are okay with all of it as long as you are pushing a leftist extremist agenda.
Yeah, your first mistake was thinking that this is actually a fair process. I mean, this is basically just confirmation of what we already knew. We knew that Twitch was okay with all of this stuff. To pretend that they somehow hadn't seen it is just completely delusional. This stuff always goes viral on Twitter, and they obviously keep a close eye on that, considering they police off-platform behavior as well.
Yes.
Dan Clancy's self-admitted literal favorite streamer is Hassan. He obviously keeps up with what he's saying and doing. The whole performative gesture of the 24-hour ban for Hassan on his day off, that was literally all for PR. Hassan literally has some of the most crazy violations ever, like open terrorist propaganda. It is so obvious they do not care at all. And if that wasn't bad enough, they do the most spit in the face thing ever and tell him to just ignore them. Ignore these people trying to literally ruin your life.
Just ignore them. But if you're a woman and you think that the people in your chat are sexist and harassing you, then we're gonna ban those people. So just ignore it when it's you. But if it's other people, they don't have to ignore it. They shouldn't have to deal with it. They're gonna get banned, the people who are doing that. What a fucking crazy double standard. It really is so shameless. Like, this reminds me of when Pokimane was able to get the word incel, like, banned on Twitch because her audience kept being called incels because they were tier 3 sub simps. And it was like, okay, so you didn't tell Pokimane to ignore it, but you're gonna tell Tectone to ignore it when it's a personal allegation against him that's fake. False allegations? Totally fair game if you're on the left wing. But if you are posting things that make fun of the, like, imaginary weight of a Pokimane sub, bam!
They sent me a DM on how to deal with this. And they told me to just ignore them. That's their solution. To have people send me career-ending false allegations, going after my friends, dead parents, and just ignore it.
Yeah.
What type of disgusting fucking monsters do you have to be to expect me to be able to...
They call it a safe space platform where stuff, you know, the bullying guidelines are strict. You cannot hate raid someone. You cannot do these things with chat behavior, the code of conduct and how you're supposed to compose yourself. It's very tight knit, okay? It's all around not harassing people. But it's only not about harassing certain types of people. You know, you can't harass minorities, left-wing people, etc. You can't harass Tectone, Asmongold, the people who are on the right and who are like white guys. It's all fair game. Say the most cruel shit you want about them. It's crazy. It's really actually crazy.
Be defamed, slandered, have my livelihood ripped away from me, have them go after people who I care about so much, more than I care about my fucking self, including their dead parents, and say, well, just ignore them. That's not how this works.
Right.
I would be able to fucking ignore them if you did anything.
Right, so let me get this straight. They want him to ignore being called a grapist.
Right.
But somehow, Frogan cannot ignore being called fat, and Denims cannot ignore being called a hoe. I mean, just the level of double standards here. It's not even equivalent. Like what Tectone is saying, you know, it might be crude or rude or maybe even consider harassment, but at the end of the day, they're just sort of like descriptors there. That kind of...
If it's harassment, then so is what they're doing. So if it's harassment, then okay, ban harassment. But don't just ban certain types.
Sort of fit, not gonna lie. And...
Someone said Frogan isn't that big, bro. You're tripping.
It is nowhere near legitimate criminal accusations. And these are being pushed by some of the biggest streamers on your website.
What do you mean
they should be
not
accountable
that big
for their actions. And you absolute clowns should be enforcing your flippin' TOS. That's what makes a website fair. Then he talks about how this situation has just ended up helping his career.
You are pathetic. And the only thing that you're doing is you're going to make me grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger, because I'm not going to let you bully me. I'm not going to let you silence me. I'm not going to let you encourage me to just ignore it and not talk about it. How about you get your head out of your ass and you do
he gets
your
me fired up.
jobs. You haven't...
Dude, he gets me fired up when he talks. He's just like... I don't know, he's got like a political delivery to what he's saying, to where I feel like I gotta get up and march. I have a dream.
TOS, enforce it. Thank you for giving me 1 million subs on YouTube. I'm gonna go get a golden retriever in celebration.
Yeah, I mean, they did just end up making Tectone way bigger than he was before this whole drama.
He's blown up.
And these multiple Twitch bans just ended up having the exact opposite effect. Instead of actually suppressing him, he ended up multi-streaming, getting a much bigger audience, popping off on YouTube. It's just so funny how incompetent they are at everything they do. Makes me somewhat grateful for YouTube because, you know, they do have a ton of problems, but at least they aren't as bad. So anyways, Asmongold responded talking about how damaging it can be to spread these accusations.
Ruin their life with false allegations.
I don't think people understand how much damage a false allegation can do to a person. It will make people want to kill themselves.
Yeah, people also don't understand that the bubble and the circle that false allegations can break out of can make people who have never heard of someone be first exposed to them through that false allegation. They will just associate them with that thing, and that will be their only impression of them. And that is like, it makes it so that you have bad blood and, you know, there's a muddying of the waters for this person before you have even seen a drop of their content.
And in a lot of cases, sometimes they do. Because, like, if you say something like that about a person, this is career ending, people do not want to deal with you, nobody wants to be around you, it's really, really bad.
And it's also like if you are trying to work with a brand and then they're like, hey, we just like did a little background research. We see that you had this thing where someone said that you did this horrible act. What happened with that? And you could say, oh, yeah, that was a lie created. And then they're going to read that and they're going to be like, okay, like even if you're right, people still will believe the false thing or people still associate with the false thing. It will shackle you down and it will prevent you from growing in all sorts of ways. And so it's not just the mental burden or the social burden, the emotional trauma, the hateful DMs, the death threats. It will financially cripple you because brands will be troubled when they look at what you have attached to your name, even if it's all fake.
A leftist extremist agenda.
As long as you have the right opinions, you get to get away with
Jesus
anything.
Christ.
That's right. And that's the way it's been at Twitch. If you have the right opinions and you have the right politics, you can break the rules and not receive any consequences. And when things get egregious enough, maybe you get suspended on your day off.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it works. If you have the correct politically approved opinion, which is somehow supporting terrorists now, you can pretty much do whatever you want.
That image is
you can
crazy.
live in fantasy land, and Twitch will just protect you. And we really do forget how serious these accusations can be. It's just lucky that some of these streamers are big enough to defend them.
Like, yeah, and it's also, you have to imagine, right, like Tectone and Hassan, they have a very large following, so when it comes to stuff like this, people are willing to listen to them and willing to hear them out and take their side, but that's a privilege. That's something that is, like, they have the benefit of that not everyone does. Like, a lot of people, like, if they are not as big, and if the size of the creator who is dragging their name through the mud is bigger, then you have a mismatch of power. The bad guys have the upper hand. In this case, the bad guys don't. Tectone and Hassan, whether you like them or not, if we're talking about people who are falsely accusing and then the recipients of, the people who are falsely accusing and then the falsely accused, we have a good guy and a bad guy. In this case, Tectone being a falsely accused makes him the good guy against the false accusers. It's that simple. Now, let's just hope the bad guys don't have power. It's that all you can hope for.
Themselves, clear their names, and they get a lot of support and attention from other people covering the situation. But who knows if Denims and friends do this to some people who are smaller or people who don't have these large fan bases to defend themselves.
Exactly.
I mean, it will just straight up ruin their lives. Twitch to Hamas orbiters, I'll ban him. Twitch to Tectone, ignore them. I love how together as a community, we've effectively changed Hassan's name from Hassan to Hamas. Absolutely fitting. He will probably wear that as like a pride label. Anyways, turns out Denims responded. Here we have a tweet, do nothing and win. She responded on her alt account again. The funniest thing about this is the fact
2 likes.
that I only asked people to report him once for the jerk-off comments about me. After Twitch didn't do shit, I literally gave up on the Twitch report system. Now that I'm doing nothing, he can't stop getting banned. Yeah,
My theory is I think it also has to do with them upsetty spaghetti that he moved over to Kick. I honestly think they're like, all right, fuck it. He left us anyway. He's multi-streaming. He doesn't even need us that much anymore, so we're going to be a lot more strict with the rules. I honestly think Twitch is mad that Tectone broke up with them and that they're just trying to punish him for leaving. Like, they're just like, okay, yeah, we would probably let you get away with some stuff. But notice how in the past 90 days, how as he's moved over to Kick, he's been getting banned more for more bullshit. I don't know. Might be a coincidence, but I also think that there needs to be some sort of correlation.
I am absolutely not believing a word she says. Not gonna lie, she is pretty much proven.
Yeah, I also don't believe that she didn't report him. I just did nothing. Like, you definitely fucking reported him. You definitely wanted him to get banned. You definitely are happy that he got banned and would definitely do whatever you could in your power to get him banned. Like, this is retarded. I don't believe this at all.
A liar at this point, constantly twisting the narrative, like what she did to Ethan. Also, I find it crazy how you complain about being sexualized after literally doing it.
Look at this shit, bro. Look at this.
Also, I find
Hassan Piker, the Piker-Klein debate, and it's them debating, and it's like a fucking movie poster. She's smiling like it's literally the coolest thing she's ever seen. We can't miss it. We'll be there at 12:30 sharp. This is the most unemployed shit I've ever seen in my life, okay? Smiling with a chat full of unshowered, uncleansed losers, excited for this to drop, like it's the new Avengers movie. Legitimately, this is like debate porn for fucking dweebs.
it crazy how you complain about being sexualized after literally doing it to yourself all the
Like, has a single person in this chat showered in the past year? No or no? Like, literally the answer is no. There's no way. It's not possible.
It'd be crazy how you complain about being sexualized after literally doing it to yourself all the time with OnlyFans and such. Again, never condone any sort of harassment, but I just find it hypocritical. Admits to stealing copyrighted content and now admits to effing with someone's income maliciously.
Nice.
Can we say class action?
What's
when
up?
Ethan
Class
called her the queen of
action.
cell phone, he wasn't lying. Apparently all the Hassan Orbers are coming in. We got Mike from PA, the Omega
Bro,
Sim, saying
this
get him
guy.
off the platform for
What a
good.
cut, too.
Now,
What a
after
crazy
Hassan
haircut.
called Tectone a grapist, people are also bringing up the Hassan clip where
The
Hassan
brothel?
said it's okay for college girls to get literally violated
yeah.
as long as they're
No, this
rich.
was great.
You have these.
Oh, I've seen this clip so many times. Yeah, I mean, we could let it play, or I could just summarize it, because at this point, I think everyone's seen it. He essentially says that if you're a rich girl and you go to a nice school, you know, it's good that the rich people are going to these rich schools, because then they're only gonna violate each other and not some poor person who doesn't deserve it. They're basically saying if you're wealthy, you can justify horrible things happening to you.
If you're a rich girl, it's okay for you to get literally
Yeah.
raped. And
Yeah,
somehow,
so,
this
yeah.
guy's fan base is all far lefty,
Taylor
extremist
Lorenz.
liberal women, by the way. From grapes never happened, to baby settlers, to supporting terrorists who do the
Goat.
most unspeakable things
Really the goat.
to
He's
women
so
and
awesome.
children, and LGBT, who he claims to love so much.
Yeah, what's going on with the flag of the LGBT being in the same discussion of top flags right after the terrorist flag, where they are not too fond of gay people? This flag's cool with all the rainbows, but what about the one with the AKs that they used to let's just say uphold laws that aren't too fond of this?
But also, I love Hezbollah, guys. Just what a piece of
cray
shit, man.
cray.
Anyways, let's move on to Kaceytron. Now, last video,
This bitch is actually a bottom 5 of all-time streamers. I think Bossman Jack bodies her.
we talked about her playing victim
Crack addict Bossman Jack.
after getting rightfully sued for stealing content. Well, Asmongold has responded, and turns out he's pretty mad.
You know, like that's what really like.
This is the same girl that said I killed my mother.
She's crying? Bro, again, throwing stones in a glass house. How are you crying? Frogan was crying too. You guys all did this to yourselves. Imagine being upset for circumstances that you created by harassing people and lying about shit that is literally life-ruining. Crazy.
The amount of sympathy that I have for this? Zero. You get what you fucking deserve.
I also have beef with her, bro. She sucks.
Ethan W. Huge Ethan W.
me like so freaked out. Is seeing,
That's right.
Like, and I know people are gonna be making fun of me for this.
I'm not making fun of you for it. I'm just saying that you deserve it.
Oh, I'm definitely making fun of you for this. I'm running a victory lap, bro. Do you remember when she watched 3 minutes of my video and called me an incel? Nice. Judge me by my enemies.
You deserve it. By the way, if you didn't deserve it, you wouldn't have gotten served. And it's gonna get worse.
And I'm just so fucking tired.
Oh.
Tired of constantly being harassed by this shit. You know, like.
Then you should stop.
She literally just, no. She does this. This is the stones while living in a glass house. She takes the shots. She'll call people incels. She will shit on anybody who she disagrees with and use some sort of charged label to justify the retaliation. But then when people are like, oh yeah, you're kind of fat, and then you also are not good at reacting to content, you also stole Ethan Klein's content nuke and didn't talk over it, and then used it just to substitute the original piece of content, which is illegal, and you're probably gonna get sued. And you also smoke a lot of fucking weed and eat a lot of food on stream, which is like the lowest form of entertainment that could possibly exist. That's not harassment, okay? I mean, it's literally not. It's literally not.
Stop harassing other people.
For the
Yeah,
past
thank you, Asmongold.
3 or 4 months, I've really just been like, I just want to focus on myself and I want to focus on my community.
Bitch, what are you talking about? Focus on myself? What are you talking? No. Again, this is just like rewriting history. In what part of the let's unite against Ethan Klein in a joint effort to fuck with him is keeping to yourself. I want to steal this guy's piece of content to farm impressions and drama, you know, clicks and likes and, you know, get more money from people who hate this guy, who are deranged. But I also am just keeping it to myself at the end of the day. You're a fucking compulsive liar.
Yeah,
You want to focus on yourself and your community, so you actively lead harassment campaigns against multiple people to get them
What did I just say?
deplatformed, misrepresent them, and call them rapists, but you just want to focus on being positive in your community? No, you're lying. You're lying. You're lying. You're lying. It's so obvious.
I want to be one of those people who's just a breath of fresh air.
Fresh air. Was it 42 times? Something like that?
She smoked more than she spoke.
They do musicals. They're
Yeah,
very
nothing
musical
fresh air.
people. Dog, what do you... Look,
That's not fresh
you think
air.
I'm amazing?
I said it's just been such a fucking struggle, and I'm just so
It's gonna
fucking
get
tired
worse.
of struggling, and just the idea of
It's gonna get a
having to,
lot
like,
worse.
keep on
She literally does nothing on stream. Like, literally nothing. And I mean it when I say nothing. She literally just plays uncut, unfiltered hours of like professional production content. Like there's this one like gay show that I caught her watching one time. This is when we were beefing. I was going to see what she had to say about me. And she's literally watching a 40-minute fucking episode of like Drag Race. Literally what? How?
struggling, and it just be an ongoing thing for like the next several years of my life. It's just like, I don't know if
It's not the next several, it's your whole life. Your whole life on the internet. It's just gonna keep getting worse.
Wow, I've actually never seen Asmongold this angry. I guess the comment about his mom really pissed him off.
Good, yeah. I mean, if I'm Asmongold, then you're talking shit about my mom and you're crying, bro. That's literally, I'm like rubbing my hands and I'm smiling. I'm like, yeah, thank you for that. I'll be taking that now. I'll be taking that clip.
It should. And unfortunately for Casey, no amount of crying and groveling is going to fix this. I mean, she still refuses to apologize to Ethan. That is probably the one thing that could save you at this point. You know, actually delivering a sincere apology to Ethan, and Ethan, from the kindness in his heart, decides to drop the lawsuit. But instead of doing that, you can...
I honestly think this person is worse than Denims, Frogan. So actually, no. I mean, they're more powerful and they use their power for bad. So I think because of that, they're worse. But if she had power, you have no idea. If she had power, if people listened to her, if she had influence, and if she was like overtly political, which she kind of is, but it's more subtle, dude, she would be like 10 times worse than Hassan. Luckily, the universe is somewhat balanced, so her relative appreciation by like the Twitch community is about like 0 compared to Hassan. So that's one good thing. But holy fuck, bro. We live in a world where, brother, if she had power, we would legitimately be dragged into World War III, because some world leader would be scrolling Twitch and then see this as a representative of what the United States has to offer in the realm of political discussion, and we would get nuked tomorrow.
Continue to...
And I'd be like, you know what? All right. Fair enough.
double down and just call everybody that criticizes you incels and whatnot. And it really is just getting pathetic, and that is...
All right, I actually have to pee, and I'm not gonna leave the video playing while I pee, so...
quite a statement for someone like Casey, who was pathetic to begin with. You really need to take a look in the mirror, probably wear sunglasses, that shit might blind you, but, you know, do some level of self-reflection. That was my point there. Like, how did I get to this point? How did I F up my life this bad, you know? Then she calls out Asmongold's community for harassing her.
you know, as
I think if Kaceytron made an OnlyFans, and then a lady with dwarfism made an OnlyFans, the lady with dwarfism, who's 4 foot tall, would probably get 200 times the amount of active subs than Kaceytron. And it wouldn't even be hard.
Gold's community, Tectone's community is now claiming.
That's right. You shouldn't have talked shit about me. What do you think? I'm a target dummy? You think I'm supposed to just take it? And also, I barely even talk about you. The only time I think about you is whenever you're talking about me.
Claiming that Tectone is going to sue me for defamation.
Oh. Remember how I said I thought it was going to get worse?
Wait, hang on a minute. What's
Told
going
you,
on here?
look, this is MasterChef.
Yeah, you got Kaceytron asleep in the bottom right, okay?
She's reacting, guys. Guys, she's reacting.
Thought.
How much do you want to bet
Dude.
that our viewers probably go down the moment that she wakes up?
Oh my
The amount
God.
of sympathy that I have for this?
Huh.
0.
You know, Savage Asmongold is a very rare occurrence. Usually
Dude.
he's super sort of laid back with this sort of criticism, but this is actually a rare treat. He is absolutely not buying the bullshit. And man, I hadn't even seen that clip. Her literally being asleep when watching videos.
I didn't see that either.
My God, dude.
That's great. And I love how she has a king-sized bed for herself. Perfect fit.
Now, is Tectone going to add to the lawsuit? I don't know. He has a laundry list of people to go after, from Hassan, Denims, Kaceytron. It's kind of take your pick at this point. But regardless of what happens, we will be there, as always, watching with some extra buttery popcorn.
All right.
Anyways, let's move on to Ethan adding Sean DeBlack to the lawsuits. This is absolutely hilarious.
This is great.
Giga brain move by Ethan, considering their entire criticism.
He's like, I'm not just sexist, I'm racist too. You want to call me sexist? Well, what about racist? We could try that on for size, huh?
Of him was being a misogynist for suing 3 women, right? And now he's just added a guy to the lawsuit. I'm telling you, real life and slop content is better than actual TV shows right now. So Ethan posted on Instagram, "Good evening. I've been thinking deeply about everything going on, specifically about the accusation that I'm a misogynist for suing 3 women. You are all correct. It's not been fair. That's why I've decided to add Sean DeBlack to the lawsuit.
No way.
For gender equality."
Dude, nice.
Sean, be sure to
thank all your snarker friends for their constructive advice.
Absolutely
Oh
brilliant
my
gambit
God.
by Ethan.
Yes,
Not even the Sicilian attack can match up to this
little chess
strategy.
reference,
Truly
huh?
Genius, 1
Big
billion
brain
IQ.
time. No, I like
Karma's a
that.
bitch. He's
Little
coming
JoJo
for them
Siwa
food
reference.
stamps.
Oh, nah.
I hope Sean
That's crazy.
laminated that race card. Ethan is straight up pitting the snarkers against each other. You know the best part? There's gonna be a 4th GoFundMe. And now they're all gonna be like mad at each other. No, donate to me, not her. Now people are obviously doing the most predictable thing, calling him racist. Creepy Klein adds black man to his list of victims.
Dude, Creepy Klein, dude. That's awesome. He adds a black man to his list of victims. We don't view him as a human. We view him as a meat shield with a flesh and skin tone that we view as a minority. So therefore, when we say that you're bad, you're not just bad, you're a racist, which is a special kind of bad. That in this world of gender equality and racism and DEI and whatever woke shit, that's the worst thing you can be.
Victims for equality's sake while on vacation. Time to add
Nice,
a token
dude.
cis white male for equality's sake. Mike from PA, where are you at, buddy? Absolutely
Yes, add
legendary, dude. And if he tried to sue a white man, they would call him a typical Jew. All these people see is gender and race. Everything is attached to identify regardless of their actions.
It's so stupid.
Because these people are actually racist and sexist. They don't see people as anything other than their skin color. Now, Sean DeBlack responded. This person quoted, Ethan decided to sue a black creator instead of being misogynistic while on vacation, overlooking the ocean on his birthday. What a legend. And Sean's like, the frick? Now, apparently Sean is mad at his Hassan orbiter friends for snitching on him.
I was like, why y'all dragging me into this? People be like, oh, why is he only suing women? Which I'm like, okay, fair. He's like, yeah, Sean DeBlack reacted to it. He didn't sue him either. Why are we dry snitching? It's like playing hide and seek, right? And your boy gets found. And all right, come out, bro. They found us. What do you mean they found us?
That's actually hilarious. I'd be pissed as fuck at these bitches for dragging him into the mud. Yo, Frogan and Denims, come get your man. You just fucked him up. You want to talk about racism? The only reason he got sued is because y'all wouldn't shut up, dumbass.
You speaking French? You speaking French? Leave me out of this. Leave me out of this. To be fair, they probably didn't think this through. They probably didn't think that far ahead. They were trying to call out Ethan's misogyny, which is a good thing. But like they
ended up getting you sued, bro.
You know, I caught a stray. And that's just how it be sometimes. So how much E hates black people. I'm surprised he knows your name. He knows my name so he can hate black people.
Dude, of course they make it about racism. What a classic. When you're unable to fight...
He may be stupid, but that's funny. No, it is funny.
...on any legitimate arguments at all. Well, actually, NPC dialogue activated. Sexist, racist, incel, misogynist, homophobic,
Anyway, yeah, I think I get the gist of that video. Pretty cool update with that stuff. But yeah, you know, if you enjoyed, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike. See you guys later.